Hi, I'm Barbie Romero, the Director of Event Programming at MediaPost. Welcome to our Brand Insider series, Backstage Exclusive. This is your chance to ask our past brand insiders what's on your mind. Today, our spotlight is on Katie Thoms, Vice President Marketing QSR Division at Fat Brands. Welcome, Katie.
Hi, thanks for having me, Barbie.
Yeah, great to have you. And as you can see, audience behind Katie, there's a bunch of brands.
Yeah.
Katie helps do marketing for Great American Cookies, Marble Slab Creamery, and Pretzelmaker. So the first question the audience has is, how do you balance marketing across these three brands? How do you know where to focus your effort?
Oh gosh. Well, it's kind of that whole saying of work smarter, not harder. But honestly, the each of the brands are very similar. They have their own personality but they also share enough DNA that I feel like we can apply a lot of smart learnings. So when it comes to resource prioritization, we stay very agile. We
Mhm.
focus our efforts on where there's momentum, seasonality, strategic opportunity. It's a balancing act for sure, but we share insights back and forth. So it makes it a lot easier and align on just key goals across all three brands. And for example, some of the key insights and things that we've learned, like the last probably year and a half or so, we've been doing a lot of DoorDash advertising for Pretzelmaker and optimizing it in different ways, and it's done really well. And so we took those key insights and those learnings and applied it to Marble Slab Creamery and saw very similar success. So just kind of being nimble, being thoughtful in what insights we learned from one brand and how it might apply and work for the other brands.
Oh, that's very interesting. It also sounds like almost like an agency kind of feel because you're like
Yeah,
working on different things, but then yeah, like the learnings across. I think that's a great piece of advice for the audience.
yes, absolutely.
Great. So then the next question is, so I actually interviewed a few people on your team in the past at the QSR Summit, and
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and Fat Brands has a history of co-branding. I think when I interviewed the folks on your team, it was like the first time they did it. So now it's been a few years, and wanted to see if you had any advice on how QSRs can create co-brands. How can they avoid cannibalization? Because sometimes these brands, like you said before, they could be a little similar, but they have their own personality. So how do you have any advice about that?
Yeah, so market research that we've done over the last few years, it shows that our target consumers are very similar, but they engage with our products differently. And so they engage with them at different times of the day, they engage with them depending on the season. And so, for example, like cookies are very much an afternoon treat. Cookie cakes are for celebrations, and ice cream kind of peaks in the warmer seasons and in the afternoons. Pretzel Bites kind of runs the gamut of all day kind of snack or meals. And so it makes our brands very complementary to each other. And I think that that's why the co-branding and tri-branding works very well. They're not competitive with each other, they're more complementary.
Okay.
And so we just also look at like how can we enhance the products together? So for example, we will add a cookie to your shake kind of thing, or get a scoop of ice cream and add a cookie with it. So we kind of find ways to have fun and enhance the products as well, and don't really see cannibalization in that nature because they are so different, but work so well together.
Yeah, that's great. You're making me hungry. I'm like, I want to try the cookie and the ice cream.
I'll tell you, it is hard to do this job because all day I stare at cookies, ice cream, pretzels, and yes, I it makes me hungry all day long.
Well, our next question here is about like how do you decide which branding or social channel to use? So you have like the Great American Cookie and the Marble Slab Creamery. Like, how do you know which channels to speak to your consumers on?
So it varies. Obviously, kind of naturally, cookies and ice cream go together.
Hmm.
And when we worked through co-branding, the brand voice, the color palettes, the overall guest experience, they were closely aligned. Like we took the time to really make sure that those closely aligned, both individual, but also when we do co-brand. And so that made it a very intuitive decision for us. We launched the first co-brand in 2014. And so since then, we've expanded to over 170 units worldwide. And we've seen franchisees see a 10 to 20% lift in incremental sales. And so we know that it's proof that the model delivers and has real value. But from the very first day, 10 plus years ago, the goal was to make sure that the customer experience was unified, it was seamless, from when the guest walks in and till they have their first bite, and online and in store. And so we have spent the last few years really working on defining that online space. And we launched a new co-branded website. We launched a new loyalty app that was co-branded, all of it optimizing the convenience factor of co-brand, but still allowing them to kind of stay separate in nature too, for those stores that are still individual.
Mhm.
But as part of it, like, it is important that the brand maintains that individuality. And so when it comes to like SEO and search and things like that, we make sure that from a discoverability standpoint, that they still exist as individuals because they are iconic products. They do have deep history of being their own products. And so it's kind of it's a balance again there too. We do feature like co-branded product launches together. We try to align our calendars, our marketing calendars together. We have a lot of engagement and fun when we do collaborative like Instagram and social media posts and things like that. So it's a fine line. We like to keep them individual, but also want to make sure from a consumer experience that it is very easy for the customer to get both products or single products.
Oh, that's great. And then, as you mentioned, like the loyalty program was revamped last year with Great American Cookies and Marble Slab Creamery creating a co-branded app. How did you decide which elements from which programs to keep the customers happy? Because a lot of customers, they might really love, like, I don't know, points or something or visits, and then you're like, no, I'm gonna combine things, and it's how do you balance keeping those people happy from both segments?
Yeah, so it's funny, as the co-branding became more of a significant part of our footprint, we knew the customer experience had to evolve as well. And we actually were getting a lot of feedback from our customers saying, we want combined loyalty points. We don't like to have to pick one or the other. And so it was becoming very apparent that this was something we needed to do. So
Okay.
we heard that from customers, but we also heard it from our franchisees too. And again, it goes back to guest experience, like making sure that when they're in store, they're giving the guest the best possible experience. And so having kind of a disjointed loyalty program wasn't working. And
Okay.
so we work with Punch. So Punch is the provider of our loyalty and app. And we do quarterly business reviews. We look at our KPIs. We look at all different things to identify the elements that worked for both loyalty programs. And then we essentially took the feedback from franchisees, kind of that in store, what are people asking for, and put together our new customer journeys, key offers, things like that. And so we actually did something fun with this app in that the welcome journey is, or the welcome offer, excuse me, is there's both an in-store offer and an online component. So we gave two different offers where they get to experience the in-store, they get to pick something cookie-based or ice cream-based, and then they also have the opportunity to use the offer online. So we're trying to drive two incidents with them.
Okay, great. So thanks for answering the questions about the brand. Now,
Yeah.
let's switch gears. What is an emerging marketing trend that you're more excited about? Is there also one that you think is overhyped? I know a lot of people are like over AI, or maybe they're not, but
Yeah,
let me know
yeah.
what you think.
So it's funny, I was like, what am I excited about? Like, what's the marketing trend? And I feel like AI is kind of the one that's out there right now. And I feel like a lot of people probably say that because it is so unknown but ever present. And so I'm just excited about it from the perspective of like personalization, smarter data, analysis, customer experience, efficiencies. Like there's so much massive opportunity with AI that I mean, we have not even tapped into. So I'm super excited to see where that goes,
Mhm.
and how it can have kind of a really meaningful impact to the overall experience and what we do on a day-to-day basis. As far as what's overhyped from our perspective, I would say constant limited time offers or like quick hit products. So they generate short buzz and but they're often resource heavy. So our team, like it's a lot of work. It's our team, both from support team and frontline staff, like it's so much work for them to just disappear in 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I think strategic innovation is great, and I think LTOs are warranted, but not all the time, and they don't always have to be fire drills. And I think it's important to really also not forget about your classics and your core offerings, and make sure that you're still highlighting those for your guests too.
Great. For LTOs, I feel like the Dubai chocolate is everywhere now.
Oh my gosh,
And
yes, we are actually testing that in some of our Marble Slab locations. Yes, we have a Sunday that we are testing in our Texas market. It
oh,
is,
nice, nice.
yeah.
Bring it to the East Coast.
I know, I know. Our stores are so excited about it, and they have seen really great success. That is one of those kind of being agile and being nimble and being able to jump on a trend and really do some fun stuff. So we're excited about that and testing that with stores.
That's really cool. All right, so we're part of the show where I'm gonna ask you some rapid fire questions. Remember,
Yeah,
it's quick
yeah,
answers only. All right, so you're. It sounds like you're ready. So,
yeah. Here.
the first question is, what is your go-to snack or dessert from the brands that you work on?
Oh gosh. I'm classic. I don't know. I don't want to say boring. It's more classic go to. I would say original pretzel bites from Pretzelmaker, salted with nacho cheese, kind of add a little spice. From Great American Cookies, I would have to say cookie cake. I mean, of course, like what is a celebration or a dessert without it being cookie cake? And then Chewy Chocolate Supreme. So that's one of our cookies that I love. Oh, I love it so much. And then for ice cream, I would say sweet creams, kind of our classic staple flavor, but anything peanut butter. So mix in Reese's, Butterfinger, um, oh gosh, peanut butter sauce. I love anything peanut butter. And then in a fresh made waffle cone, of course.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
I don't like peanut butter to be honest with you.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
like a weird person. Like all my friends and my husband make fun of me, and I'm like the weirdest person. But that sounds really good. Like if I tell my husband about that, he's gonna.
He and my friends and family make fun of me because I love peanut butter so much. Like I love it. So
All right. So the next one is most underrated marketing channel.
I would say in-store experience, hands down.
Yeah.
So we can spend thousands and thousands of dollars to drive traffic into stores through different ads and different digital channels and different things. But if a guest walks in the door and has a poor experience in store, all of that is completely wasted.
Mhm.
I think, especially today in the economic environment we're in, customers are looking for value, they're looking for consistency and a great in store experience. It just builds loyalty. It drives old school word of mouth marketing. I mean, if they have a poor experience, they're going to go tell so many people, and vice versa. So you want them to have such a great experience. And so I think it's so important. And it's something, actually an initiative for Fat Brands this year, is the guest experience and how our guests are treated when they come into to our stores and our locations. So I think hands down, that's the most underrated that people forget about.
Yeah, yeah, great answer. At the end of the day, your consumer's gonna go on Google reviews. That's what I do
Yeah.
personally. To
Yep.
you look at like a QSR location, and if it's like under a certain score, they might not even go there. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
totally. All right, and then the last one is, what is a marketing term that you love?
Um, I would have to say, I don't know, move the needle or like strategic. I feel like I say strategic a lot, but um that's because I want everything to be, so strategic and thought, of course. I mean, of course you want it to be, but you know, my goal and my job is to drive same store sales, and I want to be strategic in that thought and move the needle, whether that is moving the needle in sales, moving the needle in trend, in guest experience. Yeah, I'd have to say those.
Great answer.
Very funny buzzwords. It's funny how buzzwords get, moved around, and how often you catch yourself saying them. So
Yeah, I usually ask what is a term you hate, but I like to flip it around and say
yeah.
the term you love. So good answer. Well, thanks, Katie. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Barbie. It's been great.
Yeah, great to have you. And thank you to the audience for tuning in. If you have any questions or would like to be featured yourself, contact me at barbie@mediapost.com. Take care.